Hello world, I'm Carp. Welcome back to 80 days where we are in Salvador and time is running really short. So we're gonna have to sleep a day here before we can leave because I think we could have maybe get to because it had depart instead of plan here reading earlier, but then I talked and it changed into plan. So yeah, we passed an anxious night with our 80-day deadline looming. Every sunset seemed to carry extra weight. As night fell, I offered my master every service, providing him with the haircut with the hopes he would have a restorative night. Still need to plan, and it's still gonna leave tomorrow. Yep, let's spend the night here. Another night, and the clock was forever ticking over. Before going to bed, I attended to Monsieur Fogg, ensuring he had fresh tea with intention he would have a comfortable night. Right, now we can depart. We'll head to Porto Novo, embark. Wait, we have 3. Bloody hell. Let's get rid of that sturdy stick. Now we'll embark. Go! The Sergipe was one of many airships recently commissioned from service in the Brazilian Imperial Navy and sold to civilian contractors. She was a sleek little thing and promised comfortable enough Atlantic crossing. With fog. Captain Lina Malfatti was tall, dark-haired and sharply competent. Her crew seemed to regard her with a potent mix of terror and reverence. I could not help an immediate infatuation. She, of course, treated me with an uncompromising indifference which only inflamed my passions further. She was cool, even-handed and precisely efficient. Rather like my very own master. In fact, they could very well be siblings in both appearance and manner. The realization dosed my ardor somewhat. I could not help seeing Monsieur Fogg's forbidding expressions in the angles of her face. I looked between my master and Captain Malfatti over luncheon and could not help but chuckle. Is something the matter, Passepartout? My master inquired, a chill in his voice. Captain Malfatti is intriguing, no? I ventured, lifting my soup spoon. Monsieur Fogg paused. She seems a very competent captain, he agreed, and then turned back to his luncheon as I stifled a smile. The relations have carried a little thing, but that is fine. We'll just deal with him a bit more. We sailed through a tempest today. A rather exhilarating, truth be told, though I am in no hurry to endure it again. Captain Malfatti ordered my master and I confined to quarters for the duration, so my impressions of the traversal were mostly in sounds and snatched glimpses. The sky shot with blue-violet lightning that threatened to skewer us. The moaning and straining of the Sergipe's hull as the windows tore at her. The shout of the crew that mixed laughter and fear in equal measure. Okay, we have 4 days left. Let's converse. We didn't have time to converse there. The first mate interrupted our breakfast with the call of land ho! We could see Africa on the horizon, a vibrantly green swoop of land rising out of the ocean's glittering embrace. Monsieur Fogg too seemed unable to tear his gaze away. We are close, Monsieur, I breathed, and he turned ever so slightly and nodded. The sunlight softened the hard lines of his face. Indeed, Passepartout, he agreed, his hands squeezed tight upon the rail. We are. I mean, basically we've already gone around the world, right? Any of the things worth any money here? Well, we have quite a lot of money. Let's explore, try to find a route out of here. Porto Novo had come under French protection after a British raid some 10 years ago. King Lele of the Kingdom of Dahomey had turned to the French for help then, but diplomatic relations had since deteriorated. The place was foul and I wanted no part of it. I was desperate to find a way to continue our journey. After an afternoon of pointed questions and searching, I found an airship captain in a low-roofed cafe near the harbour. I wished to buy passage, I declared. He introduced himself as Captain Trafford of the airship Black Joke and told me that he was bound for Freetown. It's but a day's journey and would be welcome to travel with us gratis. I felt my body sag in relief and I shook his hand, thanked him profusely and raced away to tell my master the good news. But when I found Monsieur Fogg, he was busy assisting none other than one Captain Lina Malfatti of the Sergipe into a caleche outside a restaurant. I stayed a discreet distance back as she stepped aboard. My master leaned into the cabin, no doubt to offer some last thought, and then stepped back and closed the door. The carriage rattled away. "Who was that, monsieur?" I asked innocently as I strolled up the moments later. "No one of importance," my master replied. So cold, even for him. Okay, so we found a route to Freetown. Again, that's where we need to go, so let's... When will this happen? Tomorrow. Right, okay. So we need to take the hotel, and there isn't anything in the market that we can sell there. Yeah, not really. So we'll sleep in the hotel. Our room was decent enough, but I was sure I would still sleep. Day 77. We made ourselves comfortable the night, and I ran a few errands for the hotel, yeah. Earning £76 in fees and tips. At some point during events, someone bumped into me. When I later checked my pockets, I found a note. In one corner was ink doodle of a black flower. I opened it quickly and read, "This will be my last note. I have to go elsewhere. Look for final instructions. I will get to you somehow. RX." It was day 77. We had barely 100 hours remaining to return home. Okay, we'll depart to Freetown. It will arrive today. Yeah, we'll go with on the Black Joe. We boarded the airship Black Joe, pride of Her Majesty's West African Squadron, at dawn. She was making a short hop back to Squadron Command at Freetown, but would soon be back in the air attacking slave ships and rescuing captured Africans. Captain Trafford was more than happy to offer me a tour around the deck, and I gratefully agreed, and we circled the gondola looking down at the rich colors of the African land below. The sense of perspective afforded by such a journey as this, such a series of journeys, will never leave me, I think. I am a passepartout modifié. Let's converse. Greetings, Captain Trafford. Good day to you. We shall ask if you can get to Dakar from here. Absolutely. Good. Now tell me, do you disapprove of what we do? No, why would I disapprove? I didn't disapprove, I abhor it. We will breathe the same air, but you are happy to buy slave-made sugar for your master's tea. Oh. What, you're a slave ship, are you? No, weren't you supposed to be someone that saves slaves? Is there a route to Dakar from Timbuktu? No idea. Who knows who controls Timbuktu? It changes every 5 minutes or so, it seems. About Dakar, Caracas? No idea. Right on, let's use the Mate here. And... yeah. These routes don't really help us here at all. We'll just, I don't know. Is there anything we can ask him about? Freetown, goodbye. Yeah, we'll discover the route over here. Doesn't really help us. Okay, so here's the thing. Shall we go to Dakar or shall we head to Marrakesh? Because clearly there's a route from... I felt restless and fancied I sensed the crew's animosity through the timber of our cabin door. Our afternoon meal was brought to us by a dark-skinned, handsome crewman, one of the many Africans recruited into the Royal Navy. I smiled at him, and he returned the smile. "You should eat," he told me in twanging English. "Everything is better with a full belly." Somehow his kindness was harder to bear than the crew's animosity. I was incomprehensibly grateful when we disembarked at Freetown and left the Black Joke behind. Right, market. Tagelmust, part of the traveler set. Okay, there's really nothing here for us, and we need to plan. Okay, so we could go to Dakar, depart in 2 days, yeah, or we could go to Marrakesh, depart for him. Okay, let's negotiate. Okay, we'll just spend all of the money here. I mean, we gotta do these things as fast as we can. So we'll go to hotel, spend the night. Freetown drew life from its harbor. Municipal buildings and warehouses gave way to residences around the estuary. The oldest university in West Africa was visible further along at Forah Bay. The locals call it the Athens of Africa. Students from all over the continent attended classes, adding to the mixed populace. The streets were thronged with people of different shades of black, brown and white, wearing everything from traditional West African clothing to the latest European style. I got the eye of a Yoruba woman in traditional Aso Oke in burnt orange, who told me her name was Ojualape. "I do not know what to think of Freetown yet," she said thoughtfully. "I was rescued last week from a slave airship bound for Bahia." "Rescued?" I asked. "Yes." She gave me a strange look. "By the Royal West Africa Squadron. They patrol the shores and attack slavers. Surely you have heard of this." I was about to mention Captain Trafford and our journey aboard the Black Joke when she turned her face and I gasped. Her entire left cheek, which had been in shadow, was gouged with shrapnel scars which extended to her neck and no doubt below her blouse. "Ah yes," she said, noting my observation. "Being rescued is a dangerous business." "Did the slavers shoot you?" "No, I think it was one of the British, a sergeant at arms, shooting at a slaver behind me." Ojualape drew her shawl around her shoulders more closely. "We were just lucky that a stray bullet didn't hit the hydrogen tanks or pierce the envelope during the skirmish. I've heard that it happens quite regularly. What will you do now?" "What I did before, I imagine. I worked the trade caravans with my sister and her husband before I was captured." Her jaw hardened. "I'm heading out at first light tomorrow to Timbuktu. Hopefully I will find them there." I did not envy her her the journey. Timbuktu was a byword for remoteness and barbarism, and I would be happy to avoid its environs. I bade her polite farewell as she moved away. The sun dipped into the water of the Atlantic as I returned to our lodgings. We had come so far, my master and I, but there was still a long way to go. And we can depart. Yeah, we'll just head there immediately, like, we'll completely skip Dakar, even though we had the thing that would be quite a lot of money in Dakar. We boarded the Charlotte, a British mail airship carrying diplomatic papers and not a few puffed-up personages to Marrakesh, no doubt bound for the Alavite court at Fez. Captain Edwards looked a little worse for drink, but still commanded the ship admirably and seemed quite steady on his feet. Monsieur Fogg took against him for some obscure reason and retired to his cabin for the entirety of the journey. Let's converse. Greetings, Captain Edwards. Good day to you, Monsieur Passepartout. Marrakesh! They say the French want Marrakesh, but the Ouds are very powerful. Marrakesh to Port-au-Prince. I doubt it. To Tangier. Yes, my father decided part of the horse-drawn calash from Marrakesh to Tangier. Okay. But yeah, we're not gonna make it. It's just not gonna happen. Captain Edwards offered me a cigar, which I accepted and leaned over the airship's guardrail as he blew smoke in the cool blue sky. That Fogg's something like a cold fist, isn't he? Very much in the old style. Okay, plan to Tangier. It starts tomorrow. Market. I mean, I'm just gonna sell this stuff. We're not gonna get anything from it anywhere. That might help us something, and yeah, sell for 10. But it was only worth 100 or 500 in Dakar, but we're not going to Dakar anymore. And the malachite chunk, yeah, we'll sell that as well. We'll head to the hotel. We'll pass the night here, last day. Though no longer the Alawite capital, Marrakesh was a city touched by glory. Enormous fortified walls encircled the old city, with trading settlements clinging to the outer ramparts. European factories and customs houses ruled the docks, fat and prospering from the vast revenue of the port's imports and exports. I made friends with a young city guard patrolling the vast gardens and courtyards of the Bahia Palace. He was a clear-eyed, nervous man by the name of Jamil. Have you ever, he asked me, been in love? It depends what you mean by love. He squinted at me. Love, he declared incredulously. When you would give up anything to make someone happy, when their happiness matters more than your own. Ah, then, yes, I have, I said, thinking fleeting of my Mongolian princess, but I will not record my full response here. Some part of a man's soul must remain unpublished. Jamil looked at his leather boots for a long moment. I am in love with my commander, he said in a rush, before dragging his eyes up to mine. Do you think I should tell him? How does he feel? I do not know, he replied wildly. Do you think it's possible for a man to love above his station, to defy social convention? Of course, I said. We do not control who we love, after all. That doesn't mean it will be easy. I only know, he said, his voice desperate, that I love, and that denying it is as impossible as admitting it to him. Jamil shook himself suddenly. You are the first person I have ever told this to. How strange it is. I thank you for listening. I thought much on his words as I walked through the ochre city, but came to few conclusions. Right, we'll depart to Tangier. We'll go. We hired one of the local mechanical horse-drawn calèches from the garden square between Koutubia Mosque and Jema El Fna. It was only a short journey to Tangier. Do you know if we can get from Tangier somehow, man? Have you learned anything? No? Well, we'll just make you feel better with all this stuff we have here then. Very good. Monsieur Fogg and I had to sit facing each other in the canopied vehicle, so naturally I stuck my head out and asked the driver to go faster. Any faster will damage the horse, he shouted back. Then drive on, I sighed and leaned back in the carriage to see Monsieur Fogg turn his head and look away. What did that gesture mean? Okay, so we'll have to explore. Let's explore then. A route discovered to Lisbon. Yeah, Tangier, said a guide I had once read, is not yet Europe, it is true, but it is no longer Morocco, a sentiment I did not wholly agree with. It is Moroccan enough to be far from home, and with one day remaining every mile counted. I found my way to a shadowy bar to complete my picture of a city full of intrigue and espionage, and fell in conversation with a Jewish merchant, nursing a bottle of gin. Come, toast with me, he urged. Tell me nothing of your past or your purpose. Tonight in Tangier we are but two people cut free from history. I drank down my gin in a single gulp, and my companion refilled my glass. To journeys and their end. Now, if you need a journey, the man continued, my friend here has one. He slapped a rough-looking character on the shoulder. But the price that will make your eyes water worse than this glass. Salute. Several gins later, I made my meandering way back to Monsieur Fogg. A fine city, he pronounced. Where to next? Oh, where are you headed? Where are you headed? Oh, to London! Come on, come on, come on, come on. We need that. We need that. 8,600. And this private car departs for Lisbon tomorrow. So, yeah, that's it. We'll pass the night here, and we just lost the wager. Night fell. As we lay down to sleep, Monsieur Fogg murmured, today is day 80, Passepartout. We have failed. Do not lose heart, I advised him. Indeed not, he agreed. We must still return home, and as fast as possible. Right, wait. Come on, go back to Tangier. We need to wait for the bank to open. No, we're not. It's still gonna take time. And why can't we depart? Oh, yes, we can. We'll just head there. We'll just go. There's gotta be... Yeah, like, there's gotta be bank in Lisbon. We took a ferry across the Strait of Gibraltar and hired a Gardner Serpollet car and 2 drivers, Domingo and Dimas, a pair of twins, on European soil. Having a relief driver allowed us to travel all day and night. It was a journey of almost 24 hours exactly. Are you happy to be back in Europe, sirs? Domingo asked. Oh yes, I said fervently. He considered my answer as the steam owl screamed his release. Been traveling long? It feels like an eternity. He smiled and said, hold on tight. We'll converse. Yes, I know it's day 80. Lisbon. Come on, Lisbon. There should be a Lisbon to London. Meet any spies in Tangier? No. Again, no for sure. Maybe they were very good spies. Okay, so do we know that there is a route from London, from here to London now? Oh, we did. Good. But we don't have the money for that, so we're gonna have to use the bank. Wait to get that money. And, yeah. I could not stop looking around, and if the sun dipped on low on the horizon, Monsieur Fogg was similarly restless. It should be familiar and comforting, but after such a long time abroad, I looked upon the villages and trees of Portugal as a foreigner from a strange and distant land. Our journey had changed us both, my master and I, that much we could not deny, but our 80th day had sadly passed. We reached Lisbon as the aureate light of the dawn reflected off the Atlantic. The city rose up before us like a dream. Okay, plan to London in 2 days. Negotiate. Yeah. Okay. Opens. Is there anything at the market? Can we sell anything? You know what? We'll just sell everything. Oh, especially since I've actually sold that thing at some point. Yeah, we'll just sell everything. It's not really gonna give us enough money for that. Anyways. Yeah, 220, so we're gonna have to wait for the bank to open. We're gonna have to take some money. In Lisbon, we sat down to dine at a charming little restaurant with views across the Iberian coastline. The maitre d'hotel came over to our table as the waiter brought our aperitifs. Senores, he cried, wringing his hand, I have a great favor to ask. Well, ask it already, man, I replied, my stomach rumbling ominously. My foolish brother, at the trial he is to our dead mother. He made a grave error, and we have 2 guests without a table. The maitre d' looked anguished. Could we possibly impose you upon senors and add 2 to your number? I regarded Monsieur Fogg for his opinion, and he cleared his throat. Well then, we shall be glad to oblige, he said. The maitre d' ushered a top-hatted English gentleman and his dapper Prussian valet to our table. We were strange mirrors of each other, though Monsieur Fogg and I clearly comprised the superior, more handsome Indians. Our masters greeted each other and made a particular sort of upper-class small talk which forms a general background murmur to a servant's ears. Meanwhile, the Prussian valet introduced himself as a Diedrich and gave a hearty sniff as our appetizers were served. I hope the food is up to Her Montgomery's standards, he remarked. Her Montgomery is very particular. So is Monsieur Fogg, I insisted. He is the most exacting master. Oh, he cannot be as exacting and precise as my own master, Diedrich insisted horribly. Why, he is a fiend for detail. We gave each other a look, the sort of look 2 generals might exchange across a corpse-strewn battlefield. Decided to make an innocuous inquiry and ask what the monsieurs were doing in Lisbon. Oh well, the thing is, my master and I, Dietrich paused and chuckled himself. We are traveling around the world. You, I sputtered. You are traveling around the world? Yes, Dietrich nodded with satisfaction and leaned closer. For a wager? No, I shook my head in horror. That cannot be. Indeed, Dietrich continued implacably. We are heading to Tangier tomorrow, and from there South America and cross the Pacific. West instead of east, I mumbled as though in a dream. Dietrich ignored me loftily. And what, he asked with awful courtesy, are you, your master, doing in Lisbon? We are also traveling around the world, I told him churlishly, and could not resist adding. My master and I went the sensible way and are nearly back to London. Monsieur Montgomery looked up from his plate, his eyes cool and remote. What a remarkable coincidence, he remarked without expression. Quite, my master responded. Let us give you some advice, I added, since we have just come that way. Dietrich raised one overly sharp eyebrow, but did not decline my offer. Yes. Don't buy too much expecting to sell elsewhere. Markets abroad never pay well. Dietrich smiled thinly. This very meal is being paid for by the sale of a single monocle. One simply has to make good trades. I saw my master's reaction to that. We all took our leave with awful echoing politeness and made sure to press Dietrich's hand with particular firmness as we parted. I think we understood each other, valet to valet. You seem discomfited, Passepartout, my master remarked with the barest hint of a smile. I did not like that Dietrich, I said. He had a thieving, unctuous look about him. I would not be surprised if he were a fraudster and duping that poor Monsieur Montgomery into keeping him as a valet. I crossed my arms. What sort of a name is Dietrich anyway? Passepartout, Monsieur Fogg said with a small sigh in his voice. You are a man of remarkable depths. Okay, we gotta wait for the bank to open. Come on, bank, open up. And then we'll take some money. And, you know, I thought this episode was going to be really fast and I was just going to tuck this into the end of the last episode, but it seems like this is going to be its own episodes anyways. Monsieur Fogg looked somewhat weary. We must once again make a demand upon the bank, I fear. I regarded the manager of the local financial institution, a well-dressed calm lady who met us with desperate disinterest. You would like to take out, we were told. It will take a few days. Well, fine, we'll take the 700 on Monday. We require 700 pounds, I declared. The manager made a note. I will need to talk to London branch to confirm, you understand, chiefly. The funds will be ready on Monday. Oh, crap, and you know, it's 200, but fine, we'll just go exploring. We're probably not going to have enough money for the hotel for until Monday. I struck up a few conversations here and there, hunting for options for how we might proceed, and we didn't find any. So we gotta sleep. We passed the night here. We had another 2 days to wait for our transfer of funds. So we made ourselves as comfortable as we could. A true torment, past our deadline but unable to move on. We spent the last night on the steps of the bank itself, ready to be there once the doors opened. 2, 3, let's just get to the bank, get the money. We collect our funds from the bank man, and the bank manager wished us well. And, well, when is this gonna leave? Departs in 2 days. Okay, can we... Yeah, cannot do this thing. Okay, so we'll wait for 1 day at the hotel. It was with a heavy heart that I watched the sun go down. 80 days had come and gone, and here we were, still marking time and not yet home. With what remained of the day, I helped the kitchen staff to clean, earning 64 pounds. Yay! Need to wait for 1 more day. Another night passed, another mark on our calendar, another nail in the coffin of Monsieur Fogg. As night fell, I attended to Monsieur Fogg, providing him with a clipped mustache. And now we can depart for London. London. Yay! With the Madre de Deus. We left Lisbon aboard the Madre de Deus, an old Torres Quevedo airship with a belly full of Algarve oranges and early season cherries. But even such choosiness could not turn my eyes from the prize. Barring storms, side winds, pirates, fires, explosions, escaped criminals, or any other such, London was now finally within our reach. Oh, there's really no point in conversing. Let's ask about London. Let's ask about the journey. Day 86, I believe we have been too slow. Yes. Okay, nothing really interesting there. Monsieur Fogg looked out of the observation deck windows with perfect calm. Through the wager was lost and he was no doubt ruined. I did not quite know what to feel myself. I walked the upper deck of the airship in some agitation. Then I turned a corner and the world turned upside down. Was standing before me like a fury was None other than Mademoiselle Estelle herself. Passepartout, she declared in ice tones. And I know that's who you really are, Passepartout. The liar, the turncoat, the traitor, there you are. Oh, I never lied. Have you discovered the location of the ship? Don't you play the innocent with me, she snapped back. You got my message, didn't you? You told me to wait for further instructions. And surely you saw the headline I planted in the Times. Didn't your master read it regularly? I waited for you, but you never appeared. Waited where, mademoiselle? You know perfectly well where, she shot back. Don't pretend you don't. I don't. And when the artificers make their move, and they shall, it will be on your head, and yours alone. You had a chance. As she spoke, she turned to stare out and over the long drop, the clouds passing beneath us. It was your quest, not mine. She shook her head, and in a whisper she replied, you could have made a difference, but like any other aristocrat, you cared more about your petty sport than anything else. It was a foolish plan. Perhaps, but now we will never know. She gave a cry of exasperation, and when she turned back from the view, I saw her face was streaked with tears. I believe in people, Passepartout, in humanity. Engines, steam, automata are all very well, but each and every one is driven by a human hand, good or bad. I detest this world in which we hurtle headlong, where every person hides behind an engine or telegraph machine, inflicting unseen harm on the world. The people don't listen, they don't see it happening. Why is it, Passepartout, I can break into any room unnoticed, slip open any lock, but I can't get people to see? You must trust people, mademoiselle, there is no other way, I told her as calmly as I could, with the gidding drop below us and the clouds rolling past. People can do incredible things. And terrible things, she replied. How can one simply sit back and let history roll onwards like some kind of oncoming storm? I am a valet, mademoiselle, and nothing more. She shook her head. Get away from me, you worm. To think I ever confused you with your master. I left her there, pondering such hopeless things, and returned below. I found I was shaking, no doubt from the whipping winds and the ice cold of the clouds. We tethered at the airship dock in Hyde Park and felt, for the first time in 86 days, the feel of English soil under our shoes. There was no sign of Mademoiselle Estelle anywhere to be seen as we headed away to find a cab. At long last we had returned to London. Okay, return. I hailed one of the steam carriages idling on the banks of the Serpentine in Hyde Park. To the nearest pub, I instructed. My master shook his head. To Savile Row, he corrected calmly and turned his face to the window. We had lost the wager, and by only a handful of days. One fewer delay, one speedier journey, and we might well have returned in London to glorious triumph rather than ignominy. My master entered his domicile with his habitual tranquillity, though he instructed me to leave the window shut up so that his neighbors would not mark his return. I prepared his supper, and he ate heartily, as if he were not utterly ruined. Passepartout, he began. As a valet, you have been of indifferent use to me, Passepartout, he said, as though remarking upon the weather. And what will you do now, monsieur? I asked, trying to emulate my master's coolness and aplomb. My course, Passepartout, Monsieur Fogg interjected smoothly, is fully decided upon. We must attempt a journey around the world once more. Monsieur Fogg consulted his ledger and tapped his pen. Perhaps this time, he said thoughtfully, a more southerly route. Your journey around the world is complete. Adventurer Phileas Fogg loses wager. Fogg claims the attention of a notorious thief, the Black Rose, begging to survive an arrest in Vladivostok for 6 days or so. Journey. Man, that arrest in Vladivostok might have actually been the thing. Okay, so we visited 19 cities, traveled 29,200 miles. Our favorite transport was airship. We walked 25,000 in debt. Yeah. This is a fun game. I kind of like playing this occasionally, even though we didn't win this time. And yeah, this episode is gonna be its own episode, even though I might have said at the beginning that this is gonna be. Well, I was thinking this is gonna be like a 5-minute thing, or in the end, but it turned out to be half an hour here, which is interesting. And yeah, could start a new game here, but I'm not gonna start a new game here. I'm gonna play some more Call This Simulator after this one, but that's gonna be, you know, starting tomorrow. Yeah, this was 80 days, and I'm Uncle Carp. Goodbye, world. Thanks for watching. See you in the next series.